10 seconds.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 of the Best of 3 series, Zephyr Dota vs. Arrow Gaming in the WD Dota 2 Pro Series, number 2 quarterfinals, actually. This has been an interesting one so far, getting the action that we wanted, of course, very, very back and forth, and a lot of interesting engagements, but Zephyr end up going down after 45 minutes, just a little bit too strong, and I gotta say the most defining aspect of that game for me was the Nature's Prophet. I mean, going Tank Prophet into Medic Prophet into just Dominant Prophet with that item build-up and just the aspect of running him on the solo lane. He didn't rat, he just went for the face, and it was used to great effect. I really was impressed by it, but now we see a whole new game. We will see a Nature Prophet ban this time around, and we are going to be seeing a little bit of a different lineup from both sides. So thanks for tuning in. I myself am Blaze, joined by Whiplash. What's going on, man?
Hey man, good to be here. Last game, the Nature's Prophet, I felt really made Arrow's lineup, and it was kind of interesting because Doom felt like the big threat in the early and mid-game stages with his Doom ability, and just being able to shut down such important heroes like Storm Spirit. And it was just hard to deal with, and we're even seeing Arrow grab Doom as a first pick this time around this game for game number 2, and it worked really well in match 1, so I'm not totally surprised. He can shut down someone so hard in these team fights and almost make it 4v5, so I do wonder if Zephyr will try to pick someone like maybe a Lifestealer to try to deal with that Doom, just someone that maybe should be a Doom target or is able to kind of fight in those situations where one of your teammates is doomed. Yeah, Nature's Prophet out of the pool, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, actually, I really like the second banning phase here. Like, obviously, the first one's pretty obligatory, taking out Lycan, Invoker, and the Bat Rider, as well as this time around the Ancient Apparition. But look at what Arrow took out, and now look at what Zephyr banned. You see Nature Prophet and Clink's banned out by Arrow. Those are Orchid Carriers. Those are heroes that like to shut down heroes with silence. So they were worried about Arrow picking up Ember Spirit, and I think that's extremely warranted. We've seen what DDZ can do on the Ember Spirit, and it is absolutely insane. So if they ran a safe lane Doom, either an off lane or a support Nyx Assassin, and had an Ember Spirit for their mid lane, I would say it'd be almost unstoppable with the current bans on the field, and the fact that Arrow already have the Doom in their clutches. So by banning out the Ember Spirit, they really know that they've researched Arrow's strategies, as well as the fact that they play Korean Dota, where that hero is so prevalent. So yeah, I think it's a really smart phase. Now going into phase 2 for picks, though, they go for the Death Prophet on top of their Dazzle Sand King. Now we see Exorcism and Weave synergizing very well against some low armored targets, specifically Doom, with very minimal base armor. So I would say that this is going to be mostly a physical damage strat with a little bit of team fight potential with Sand King's ulti.
Yeah, definitely. Death Prophet, cool for that hero. Like you mentioned, a lot of physical damage coming out from Zephyr, with both the Exorcism being physical damage type, and basically everything in Dazzle's skill set is physical as far as damage type goes. And Arrow Gaming, they still have 2 of the heroes that they had last game, and they're picking up the Lich as a third pick, and Zephyr immediately saying, okay, we're going to grab the Viper to kind of go ahead and counteract that. But I've seen Corey playing as Viper recently, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the position 1 with this hero, and he won't be in the mid lane. Zephyr definitely are going to have a much more durable lineup this time around, and a lineup that can really shine in these extended team fights.
Yeah, oftentimes you see Doom used as kind of a counter to Viper because he can't use his orb, he obviously can't cast his ulti, and his corrosive skin is deactivated by Doom. But the fact that Doom's going to have to throw this out on the Death Prophet more often than not, or maybe even the Dazzle, means that Viper kind of gets a little bit of free reign in that opportunity. Along with that, it's good physical damage, like we're talking about, another Toxin doing some work. But the Lich pickup is pretty smart from Arrow too. I mean, going for the Ice Armor towards the mid game is going to be extremely helpful for them surviving through these fights. And now going for the full combo Enigma. I guess because of the lack of stuns. I mean, they've got the Silence from Death Prophet, they've got the Poison Touch from Dazzle, and of course the Burrow Strike from Sand King, but those aren't always going to be the easiest things to land, and if Enigma is in the right position, he's obviously going to have control over 1 or 2. If they ban out actually, they don't have to ban out the Rubik, since 2 supports have already been picked, and yeah, the Enigma is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I also really like Zephyr's ability. They've decided to ban out Slark, which Arrow run it in that offlane all the time. Like, I've noticed they love putting that hero in the offlane. They do decide to remove Mirana as the potential offlaner from Zephyr, but yeah, it looks like at this point we're waiting for those last two offlaner picks, and let's see. I mean, if Zephyr really wanted to go all out on their physical damage, they could add like a bristleback into their lineup. It's we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm really not too sure how Arrow want to go with this. Obviously, they've got the combination of the Black Hole and the Chain Frost. They've got a little bit of AoE with the Scorched Earth as well, but it really is kind of weird to see Enigma in this role. Obviously, he has a lot of push potential. They even have, hell, some Roche potential if you look at the Ice Armor plus Eidolons, but they would have to have something that can summon in order to create Eidolons, and they don't have the Nature's Prophet as an option, so... no Lycan, no Nature's Prophet. I don't think they can go for level 1 Roche, but hell, if they find some way of spawning a summon at level 1 that I'm not actually thinking of at the moment. Yeah, yeah, just go level 1 Hawk instead of Aura and get the Eidolons out. I don't know. This is weird territory, but the big thing is when that Enigma really comes online as far as either push potential, if he goes for the mech instead of the Lich, or if he goes for initiation, goes for Blink, goes for BKB, and what he can accomplish with that. I think that Zephyr definitely want a magic immunity piercing stun, or disable in general, but what are really their options in this situation? I mean, they're looking for a sexy Bambo hero, I believe.
Naga. They could go Naga this game. I've seen Bambo play Naga Siren offlane before. And it would give them a nice, good disable, and it goes through BKB.
Yeah, and on top of that, you got the Riptide for the negative armor. I really like that pick, to be honest. I think that would be huge for setting up Sand King, getting Death Prophet in the right spot, and on top of that, when there's Song of the Siren, you can use your Weave. So you get the negative armor ticking away, and then you just unleash hell, as long as you're in the right position against Enigma. We don't want a TI2 the play moment coming through, but we do want to see some awesome action. I think Naga is the right pick, but we'll see if they consider it.
The extra illusions adding on that damage. Whoa, holy crap.
Radiant team.
They went Warlock.
Yeah, yes they did. Really not sure. Obviously it's a magic immunity piercing stun, so if Warlock stays back he can just Golem Enigma every time, and that's pretty baller, but Naga Siren actually gets picked up by Arrow, and the setup is even stronger on their side. I mean, you Song, you guarantee a Black Hole in the exact position you want it on those heroes, and there's nothing they can do about it. Now, we will see that Johnny's picking it up, so I think that's going to be a support Enigma in the jungle, but and that leaves, of course, a good dual lane for them with the Lich, but wow, this is going to be an interesting game, to say the least.
I was actually really liking Zephyr's lineup up until the last pick. Warlock, and it's going to be an off-lane Warlock. I mean, we don't really see this guy that often in competitive play, so... I'll reserve judgment to see how well he does, but I would have been a lot happy with the Naga pickup. And with Arrow deciding to grab that as a core hero, they have insane setup and teamfight capabilities now. So I do feel like they have a stronger draft overall. And both teams are moving towards the jungle and the Radiant end, so we could even have an early teamfight. Zephyr smoked up. Let's see if they can get someone early on, but they will have... at least the potentially the heal from the Warlock to help them out in this early team fight.
Yeah, they definitely are looking for a clash. They went boots first on Eosin. They want either first blood in mid or a full clash in the jungle. For right now, they're just going to try to control it with wards.
We're going to get Lance. Yeah, he's caught stun. And a few right-click follow-up damage. First blood, the Blitz. That's going to be huge for the mid lane. If you give your mid laner first blood, that bottle is going to happen so much faster.
Yeah, and I think if they put an aggressive stance against this lane, maybe if they send Warlock safe lane solo, they can easily start roaming into Enigma's jungle. They already warded up twice over, one Observer Ward on the western side to cancel out a very important camp, and then of course over here, this is, I believe, going to block off the pole camp as well. So good vision for them no matter what, and they are going to be able to control Enigma a little more effectively. He's definitely resigned himself to the jungle, but he's already going to get the first D ward out.
Well, indeed, I guess you want to go ahead and do some team introductions?
Yeah, starting things off, looking over in the side of Radiant, we are going to be seeing Johnny running on the Enigma here, trying to jungle it up, while Lance farms in that safe lane on the Doom. Currently 1 versus 3 as Lich is mid, so this leaves the Nyx Assassin to go 1 versus 1 against Warlock on top, Lich helping out the Naga Siren, that is Mosin, and of course DDZ is going to be running on that Naga.
Indeed, and over on Zephyr's end, Sand King being handled by Eosin. Got in the mid lane Blitz as the Death Prophet. He has been playing this hero a lot more recently, I've noticed. And moving over to the position 1 role, it's going to be Corey on the Viper. We got Dazzle being handled by Purge. And finally, the unorthodox pick of the night, it's going to be Sexy Bambo on that Warlock, and he has really forced this Nyx Assassin out of the lane.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I mean, Xiangzai can't carapace the Fatal Bond damage. I mean, there's really no point in anyway since it's very small instances, but because it's technically HP removal damage, there's really no way for him to avoid that. So it is going to be Warlock controlling this lane very effectively, getting the better end of the deal as far as CS and experience. And I think this is a matchup that Xiangzai probably doesn't have much experience with either.
Yeah, definitely. Just the lack of experience is going to kind of leave him lost in this lane on exactly what to do. And we'll have to see if he wants to try to max out that mana burn and prevent Sexy Bambo from spamming those abilities. And we're also going to see Lance not have the best of time in this lane. Arrow did go for, I feel, somewhat of a greedy lineup, so they're not going to be able to give Lance the proper support he needs in this lane, and he won't be as much of a force earlier on in the match as he was in game number 1. We do have the haste room spawning at the 2-minute mark, and that's going to be picked up by Johnny. So we'll see if he wants to rotate towards the middle lane and maybe try to get an early kill on the Death Prophet. But nah, he is...
Ooh, Lance in a bad spot bottom.
Uh-oh, yeah. A few right clicks and he'll go down. Perch has to be careful as well. We have Johnny joining in the fight. This could be a big turnaround, actually, for Arrow, but then Johnny has to be careful. Another right click. It's good enough. They get the kill. Doom's going to fall, but Corey and Aosin, both very low on health. They may end up losing Aosin. The ward is down, and oh, the haste is out though.
Oh no, he's not. Aosin has boots first, and he is actually able to get away from Malphus for that exact reason. No boots would be a dead Sand King, but he's got him, and he will walk away here. Some corrosive skin, turning some damage around on Johnny, and of course the Lich can't really participate in this too actively either. So, one thing I want to highlight is that Doom would have died extremely quickly in that situation if he had not killed a Wild Wing. He devoured a Wild Wing, he has +3 armor because of the toughness aura, and if he didn't have that, he would have been shredded by the Dazzle's Shadow Wave. But instead, he is able to survive, heal up a bit from the Scorched Earth, and he actually makes it a fight.
Indeed. Still though, the laning phase looking a lot better for Zephyr this game than it was in the previous one. Especially thanks to that first blood as well. At Mosin and DDZ just kind of holding on the fort in the middle lane. I think that if Mosin just left DDZ to his own devices, then Blitz would have a pretty easy time in this lane. And so far 17 to 15 last hits, so they're going relatively even against each other. This next assassin, Xiangzai, not having the most amazing time versus Bambo in the top though.
Yeah, that's even a bit of an understatement. Like, Sexy Bambo is just absolutely dominating this matchup. He's going to go for phase boots. Already has a lot of right-click damage. He's actually extremely potent with just auto attacks alone, and now he's going to be going for the phase boots on top of that. There should be no way that Nyx Assassin gets legitimate CS up against the Warlock here. So he's going to have his level 6 in a moment. He went for 3, probably going to go for 4 in Shadow Ward. And then from there, he is just in such a confident position on the lane where Nyx is going to have to rotate and help his allies almost at the golden experience deprivation you would see in a support.
Now we have to be careful though, because DDZ, he has the invisibility rune. He's rotating near Sexy Bambo. And in comes Xiangzai as well. There's a mana burn, stun follow-up, Riptide, and they're going to get the kill on him. Oh, very close. They may have to deny him.
No, they bottled him. DDZ bottled him. Oh, wow. DDZ. That was nice. That was nice.
Very well played from DDZ.
In between ticks. How can you, like, you can't even see their buffs while you're doing it because you have to have your own inventory visible for it. That's so weird, but it actually worked extremely well. I didn't think a level 4 Naga Siren gank would be so potent, but they opened up with the mana burn first, and that was important. Opening up with the mana burn means Sexy Bambo can't heal himself, and he does not survive. And of course, the fact that Xiangzai did survive is just icing on the cake. Now, when you look at the bottom lane, obviously completely dominated by Zephyr. It has shut down Lance Farm significantly to this point, actually mid lane.
They're going to move in and get an easy kill on Blitz. It looks like Aosin just a little bit too slow to the party. I was keeping an eye on bottom lane though.
Yeah, I mean, they've taken down the tier 1 tower, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of action here, but it's just a lot of gold going the way of Zephyr. If you look at the net worth value, Blitz is at the top of the charts, Corey's right behind him, and it's only the DDZ that's really competing for Arrow right now. As we see Enigma jungling up, he does have his Soul Ring. He will be able to get his first big item relatively soon, but we already see some flanking movements on the bottom lane.
And did we do? If Aosin can get the stun off, this may be another Calm Lance. There's the stun, and there's no Wildkin aura as well. It's just the Unholy aura, but there's a rotation. Johnny comes in, and they're going to scare away Zephyr for now. And, you know, Dazzle has the slow, but there's not a follow-up stun in their lineup. And I think that does make it a little bit harder for them to actually kill Lance in this scenario.
Yeah, they do have Arcane Boots. They can keep spamming it out, and they can keep that working for them. But are they going to dive again? Burrow Strike comes through.
Yeah. They are. They're going for the second one as well.
Whoa.
The black hole, it hits Aosin. He's going to get without Dukin. But oh my gosh, I thought he was dead. He's okay though. The Shallow Grave saved him at the last second. He's going to have to go home.
For sure. Now Mosin dropping a ward down, a very important ward to get a handle on this jungle situation, because really Zephyr seemed to have just set up shop here. I mean, Eosin hasn't even walked away. Not sure if he's worried about getting ganked up by somebody. I guess that's the case, because he is going to be making his way back home now. Just took a little time. No, he's getting bottled up. He wants to get healed up by Purge and stay in the fight, it would seem. And they just want to keep controlling Lance as much as possible and create space for Sexy Bambo. Usually it's Sexy Bambo doing that for his team, but in this case here, the Warlock is the one that needs to farm. The only way that they're going to be able to deal with a mid to late game Naga Siren is with a very farmed Warlock. Oh, Eosin, no, under the wards. Sandstorm will only do so much. Sentry Ward comes down, and they will be able to nuke him down.
Simple Frostnova to finish off the job. I wish he kind of would have went home after he was low on health. I think he just overstayed his welcome far too long in that position. He was getting really greedy looking for someone to kill. And, yeah, beyond that, Arrow have taken a lead as far as the kills go. 4-3. Oh, 4-4 actually.
Yeah, they actually committed the golem for that. So debatable use of the golem is like 140 seconds, but getting a solo kill on the Nyx so that he isn't ganking as actively is always going to be nice.
Yeah, definitely. So I am assuming that this Warlock just going to go quick Aghanim Scepter, get a second golem out. Really be a force to reckon with when it comes to these team fights. And Viper is, I think he has his mech being sent to him. Yeah, he's got his mech on the way. So there's going to be a lot of very strong mid-game teamfight potential on Zephyr's end. If the Black Hole isn't perfect, then... Oh, middle lane, though. DGZ, he was in a lot of trouble. Forced to use the song to escape. That would have been a kill without the song, though, from the look of things. Easily.
The Burrow Strike would have gotten in range. Blizz had a DD. That was as dead as Siren can be without her ulti. But fortunately, it's a really high utility skill. It's going to allow her to disengage a lot in this game, and most importantly, set up these black holes. But Eosin, he's going big. Wow, this is not actually going to work out for them, though. They're going to get a couple right clicks on Mosin. He will fall, but Blitz locked in place. Has to watch himself.
He's going to have to be careful. Maybe he'll use his ultimate. He's deciding to save it, being very conservative with that ability, not popping it off. With the DDZ's ultimate down, though, Song of the Siren, okay, Blitz decides it's time to push, guys. Corey has joined them. They do have the mech. The entire team is here. Well, Chaotic offering down for another minute, though, so it won't be available in this fight, but it looks like the most we'll probably see is an Wait, no. Arrow deciding they want to try to do a big team fight. And Singshai moving in comes the ultimate as well from the Lich, is bouncing back and forth between Bambo and Blitz. A lot of damage shared between them. Ultimate moving in on Shane's Eye as well from Viper. And they have lost Aosin. The team fight's lasting for a long time. Doom as well, keeping Warlock out of the fight. He may survive, no. He's going to have a Malefice on him as well. The Shallow Grave will keep him alive, and he can heal himself as well. The Shadow Word. So long team fight. No deaths, besides Aosin.
Sand King looking to re-engage there, but he is still level 4, has a very short Burrow Strike range, wasn't able to fit the build there. But the big thing is how well they can persist against the Doom. The Shadow Word, of course, if Warlock isn't doomed, and then a lot of heals coming out from Purge, putting 2 points in Shadow Wave, shorter cooldown, more healing, more damage, and finally we'll be able to claim this tower. So, yeah, things are looking extremely good for them, and they need to, because if you look at the current gold on DDZ, that Radiance is going to be coming out pretty quick.
Yeah, that's true. 2,800 gold already in the Naga's pockets. The Zephyr, though, they're saying, hey, listen, we're going to force you guys to try to team fight. We don't want you guys moving out and getting a lot of farm. They're pressuring this tier 2 tower pretty heavily. The golem's available as well. That's something to keep in mind. They don't have Blitz's ultimate for another 10 seconds, so it should be available with a little bit more.
Oh gosh.
The initiation. And down goes the golem as well. They lose Harrison once again, though. Ultimate being casted by the Viper onto Lance. He's still pretty high health-wise, though, and with the Scorched Earth, he's going to mitigate pretty much all of that damage. Zephyr, they're forced back.
That hurts. He actually went for a Burrow Strike on a Spike Carapace. He saw the Carapace, so he thought that maybe it would expire right at the moment that he connected with the actual damage of the Burrow Strike. The end result is he stuns himself, he does the Burrow Strike damage to himself, and then immediately gets Frost Blasted to the face. So, overextension to be sure. Fortunately, there was no Songless Siren for that moment, so they did not get turned around on him full, but they lost the Golem, they lost the Sand King, and they might just lose this tier 1.
And yeah, as well the chains from Warlock didn't hit any of those heroes, just a few units. Edison using his Sandstorm, he's I think he'll be okay. But the tower, I don't know, man. It may actually end up falling. Zephyr have a lot of people poised nearby. Death Prophet TPing in. She does have her ultimate, and she silences up Lance. Are we going to see the ultimate?
Black hole.
No. DDZ. Using the song, and there's going to be that black hole follow-up as well. They managed to get 2 of the members, both Sexy Bamboo and Blitz, and out comes the Chain Frost. Edison will die, most likely, from the Dune. I don't think he'll be able to get denied in this case. Purge, well on health, finished off as well by the Shockwave. Oh man, Zephyr just needs 2 members left and right. Down to 4 members. Before he forced the run away, not even really able to contribute to that fight. The initiation, the setup, it's just too strong from Arrow.
Yeah, that was just a really, really good setup. Of course, it's natural to have Naga Siren and Enigma do well in a team fight with those long cooldowns committed. But even still, they just took that fight away 100%. They had the mechanism on Lance, and although there was one in turn on Corey, it wasn't enough to keep the important heroes up. Eosin got doomed. He was taken out of the fight. Dazzle just using 1 point and Poison Touch to cancel the black hole, but it was already halfway done. And the Chain Frost did so much work in that fight. All in all, at Zephyr, they didn't have the cooldowns they needed to commit. We'll have it very shortly compared to Arrow, but they're still falling behind.
Yeah, they certainly are. Naga Siren does have her Sacred Relic, so keep that in mind. Radiance will be online very soon. Naga is 2-0-4. So DDZ has been having quite the solid game. I'm sad that Zephyr didn't pick up Naga as their last pick. I know Bambo offlanes that hero occasionally, and the Warlock is cool because it's just so unorthodox. But I feel like it gave Arrow the ability to set up just such amazing team fights.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, I mean, the laning situation went really well. Xiangzai didn't even rotate once he was like 6 or 7 and getting pounded on by the Warlock, and they definitely, like you said, dominated the laning phase, and they're going to have an Aghanims up on Sexy Bamboo pretty soon, but these team fights, they just aren't panning out the way that Zephyr wants them to. Fortunately now, with this next push, Doom doesn't hardly have any mana. He just can throw out 1 Doom, 1 Scorched Earth, and they don't have to worry about any ulti CDs other than Nyx, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think this is the time for them to fight. Zephyr needs to take advantage of the fact that there are not a lot of ultimates available for Arrow. Like to see him, throw out the Exorcism, throw down the Golem as well if they can find someone to pick off. Because DDZ is still just, farming around the map, nowhere near the rest of this team. I think that they need to move in on Arrow. They gotta make the most of the situation they're in right now and try to get some momentum back in their side of the court. They're going to do it from the look of things, the Exorcism being used, and the Glyph as well. Keep that tower up on high health, but we still have 35 seconds left on Black Hole. I'm not sure if the fight's going to last that long. Down goes the Golem. Aosin following it up, and they're going to be able to kill off the Lich. Lance maybe the next target. Lots of direct click on him, as well as some magic damage. He is going to fall. Definitely a good engagement for Zephyr. Pulling the Doom on Warlock, and he'll be just fine thanks to the healing. going to pick up the tier 2 tower behind this as well.
Radiant's top
Yeah, this is
tower
exactly what
has
they needed, but the Black Hole has only got an 8-second cooldown. Song of the Siren is back up, and the Chain Frost was never used, so although that means that their fight up on the top tier 2 was more successful, they've got to get out. If they fight against Black Hole, Song, and Chain Frost, it doesn't matter how many creeps they have to try to distribute that damage. It's just going to hit too hard. DDZ farming up is 100 gold off of that Radiance, so they definitely, Zephyr is kind of turning up the gas, putting a lot more pressure out than they were before, and getting that opportunity now at an accessible tier 3 tower. But I don't know, I've seen so many DDZ Naga Siren games where the second he gets Radiance, the game shifts, and there's absolutely no coming back from it. So we'll see how they answer it with this Aghanim Scepter, if it will be sufficient, but for right now, it's just going to be a turtle game, and I think Zephyr needs to take Roche and take a big fight, but it's so hard against this Song.
I think that Zephyr, they're definitely on a ticking time bomb at this point, definitely due to that Naga, and I mean, maybe once they get the Aghanim Scepter, which they do have now on Sexy Bambo, if they can somehow force an engagement that's, even if it's not completely favorable, if they just like force the Black Hole and the Song to be used, and they go in for another fight, and like try to take a barracks or something, I can see Zephyr winning that way. But if it goes to the late stages, Arrow, they need one good engagement, and they're going to win the game.
Yeah, they're going to go for Roche here. They actually just completely seeded a top tier 1 tower for that, and I think that actually Naga's going to be able to get in range for the Song in time. She's running. She's got 370 MS. Roche is still taking its time to drop down, and this could be atrocious for Zephyr.
Sexy Bambo as well does not have his ultimate for this fight. Roshan low on health. There's going to be the Song. Out it comes Aosin. He does a stun, but oh no, Roshan may even just get right click. There's going to be a 3-man. Oh no, the Black Hole comes. Oh, by the Chain Frost follow up. And Zephyr, they are going to lose everybody. It's a 5-man wipe.
Oh gosh.
And where's that Aegis? It's on Naga Siren. He has Radiance.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth noting, I guess, that Zephyr got the last hit, so Corey and Sexy Bambo got a lot of experience, but it's a 5-man wipe. That's exactly what you expect from a Naga Enigma at that time frame, and it was just Zephyr that were a little bit too slow taking down Roche. They didn't really have any great single target damage to focus it other than the Exorcism, and actually, the biggest issue there, Blitz was only level 10. If he was 11, that Roche would have been dead, but because he's been so experience deprived with these unsuccessful teamfights in the 5-man Dota play, it actually makes it so that Roche took way too long. They got the Song, they got the Black Hole, and the Chain Frost, and what can you do against that?
BKBs. I mean, we don't see any online yet.
But even then, like, you're sitting through the full Black Hole, and for the most part, 4 seconds of Chain Frost Black Hole, there's no way to activate a BKB in between a Song of the Siren and the Black Hole, assuming it's used correctly. They obviously need more durability, but I just don't see it.
Well, Zephyr is saying that I saw Bambo kind of motion, like, go right for the throne.
It's true.
And I mean, with all the cooldowns on Arrow's end, it's going to be wild. They may at least be able to get up to that tier 3 tower and do some good team fighting. They have the Chaotic Offering available. Viper has his ultimate. Blitz is good to go as well. No weave yet from Dazzle, so that is a concern. But this is definitely a team. They want to push early. They want to get those towers, and I know if they can't get the team fights in their court, then they're not going to be able to win at all. All right, they're moving in on Lance. He's silenced. He hasn't used his Doom yet. Where is the Golem ultimate? Not seeing it.
He got doomed.
He's silenced, man. He can't use it. 4 members dead on Zephyr's end.
Oh, gosh.
5 members once again. GG is called. Zephyr realized that there's nothing they can do to win.
Yeah, that was their last ditch. Like you said, just going for the throne was their only hope, because every second this game goes on, they're in a worse position. Obviously, they didn't make the right play going for the Roche there, and then that was pretty much the thing that sealed their fate. So they went in for the all-in, but a great combination of stuns from Nyx, from Enigma. It was enough to set up the Doom, and without an ultimate, he got Fatal Bonds on like 4 people, but without the Golem ultimate, there was no way to follow through. And for Arrow supporters, that's some easy rares.
Yeah, if that Doom didn't go off on him, maybe would have seen a very different team fight. But Zephyr, they gave it a good shot, And game one, definitely, we did see hints of brilliance from them and the ability to really take on these top tier C teams. But I have a feeling that it's going to come down to them improving their drafting if they really want to go toe to toe with a lot of these top C teams.
That's going to conclude it for us here, guys. Best of 3 series ends with a 2-0 for Arrow Gaming, a 19.5-minute victory for them, just rolling over in the second game and advancing on forward into the semifinals of the Western Digital Dota 2 Pro Series number 2.